Hello, and welcome back to ManaPot Studios' Monster Heart stream, The School for Evil and Good, based on Soman Chainani's book series, The School for Good and Evil. I'm Chris Bernal, aka Krifu, and I'm the MC for this game. Let's meet our cast and players.
Hey y'all, I am Hopper, and I also known as Fail Deadly on ye old internet tubes. And I am playing Trip, the angsty but recently victorious Cerberus.
I am Maddie. You can find me on the internet tubes as Trip/Hopper. So eloquently put it at Cellartator. I do a lot of art and stuff like that. I am playing Shinnok, the redheaded fae who I believe recently seduced a member of the party and who has a little bit of a dark side.
Just a little bit. And I'm Marcy, aka Experimental Madness on most everywhere on the internets. And I am playing Lilu Beaumont, the resident cursed werewolf, for short, I guess, makes the most sense. And the daughter of Belle and the Beast.
And I'm David, graphic designer, illustrator, and game designer. Check out my game stuff over at dbb-8.itch.io. I am playing Milo Greenbonnet of Ingray with the Hollow Playbook, a, up until recently, rather uptight soldier boy who has just experienced some I think pretty severe setbacks in the trial by tale.
He has, and indeed, we return to the School for Good as we open up our session tonight. We can see on the right side of the picture, of the lake, rather. We see like these white stone towers with these blue-capped peaks, and we zoom in to one of those towers, probably in the Tower of Virtue, something like that, into a small infirmary. I feel like the tower is like a spindly shoot-off, and so the infirmary beds are all like bunk bed style. And the fairy medical professionals fly up and down to the beds to treat their patients. Milo, where are you?
Milo is in one of the beds. How long has it been since the trial at this point?
Not long. If you were escorted here immediately after the trial, if anything, you were probably escorted as soon as exiting the trial.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Might not even know the results yet.
Hmm.
Well, this could be the next day.
Yeah. Okay. So some amount of time has passed, but I'm not necessarily aware of exactly how long. So I think Milo is on the bottom bunk of one of the bunks, sitting up in the bed. I think we probably see. We see Milo. He's 16, a short kid, but in pretty good shape, with a sort of very high and tight military haircut to his kind of sandy blonde hair, and he's sitting up in bed, and I think there's probably like a big old bandage across his chest,
right?
As our audience will recall, Milo was shot in the chest in our last installment, so he's recovering from that. fortunately, for him, I think there were enchantments in the Blue Forest preventing death at the hands of other students. No?
No.
Okay, so Milo got very lucky.
He did.
Short version. Yeah, so Milo got very, very lucky. So he's sitting up in bed. He has this bandage across his chest, and he's definitely like bruised up. Additionally, he got a bit roughed up by Trip as well. So he's looking in pretty bad shape, and he's pretty morose. I think he has a book in his hands, some sort of school text, but he's not reading it. I'm just sort of like contemplating like my feet at the end of the bed under the infirmary blankets.
And what happened to Elaine, the young woman who left the trial with you? When last we saw her, she pledged to support you and help you.
Yeah, I don't think Milo has any idea. I don't think Milo has seen Elaine. I think he probably, as soon as he poofed back out of the forest, he collapsed. And if he didn't lose conscious, he's not been aware of what happened. It's all kind of a blur. When he kind of gathered himself or came to, whichever it was, he was in the infirmary. And I don't think he's really seen anybody at this point yet.
So a small fairy flits down, emitting like some green sparkly dust, and they come up and they're comically holding a wooden tongue depressor, and they have you open your mouth and then they stick it in and then stand on the other end of the tongue depressor, and walk in and like peer inside with a little lantern. Well,
yeah, if it's strictly necessary.
Oh yeah, we just wanted to take a look inside. Always been curious.
This isn't really related to my wounds.
No. You can keep the wooden stick though, and they fly off.
Unpleasant tasting. And I sort of put it. I think there's like a glass of water on the side of the bed, and I just sort of like dunk it in the glass of water.
How many of the fairy staff get accidentally eaten? I do need to know.
Way too many.
It's not uncommon. Maybe like one a year.
Also, more importantly, was there any indication that was actually medical personnel?
It's hard to tell.
Oh, Lord.
You take a look, you see a couple of fairies.
I always wanted
around.
to look inside thing.
The door opens, and who do we see coming in?
Tentatively taking a step into the room, you see a very, very bedraggled, frazzled Lilu, who clearly has not slept in the 24 to 48 hours that it's probably been. Hair is all tangled and messy. Her eyes are a little puffy red, and there's heavy dark circles there. Her uniform is a little bedraggled, but she is diligently wearing it. She's carrying a small stack of books in her hands and is very clearly trying to be as small as possible, as if she may have like dodged and weaved her way up to the infirmary trying to avoid being seen.
And I think as soon as you enter, Milo is going to like attempt to bolt upright and attempt to get out of bed. I think very quickly realizing, one, ow, two, he is not dressed. So he sort of bolts up and then Princess Lulu.
I think seeing you
Good to
do
see
that,
you.
she
How are you?
bolts over. Just like no, please, that's not necessary.
I'm sorry. I'm unfortunately not in any position to get up right now.
I have a question for you. By a very smart-eyed person over here who's not myself. With the sheets, it might not be possible, but does she notice your leg?
Does she notice the leg? It's definitely under the sheets currently. So
You try to get out of bed.
Do you have it? But do you have it on?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, you know what? I feel like, I feel like I wouldn't have they would have removed it as part of the thing. Yeah. So so there's a hospital chair kind of thing next to the bed, and I think you see on it a mechanical tin leg. It's I think rather elegantly but not flashily crafted, kind of like not minimalist per se, but not not cheap either. And it definitely has a steampunk vibe. You see some gears and connecting pieces, and it is tin plated, and I think probably has around the socket. There's some like leather fittings to adjust it, and that's just kind of sitting on the chair. And I think Milo's clothes, his uniform, is sort of draped over that as well.
Yeah, so I think she bustles in, seeing you trying to be an idiot and sitting up for her, and as she's like coming over, no, please don't. Oh, it's like she registers it, and then like takes the 2 seconds to see it, and then like tries to quickly make it look like she was not looking at it.
Yeah, and I mean it's clearly his, because if you look in the bed, you can see the outline. There's an outline of there is an outline of one left leg, and the outline of the right leg stops below the sheets. And I think Milo is he notices that you see this, and he says, "Oh, Your Highness, don't worry about that. It's not new."
I wasn't worried about that. I was can I move this? Like she puts like the books down on there's probably like a little nightstand or something that's there. She's like pointing to like the leg with your with your coat draped over it.
Oh yes, by all means, but do be careful if you don't mind.
Yes. She very carefully puts it down. She just wants to be able to sit on the chair. They wouldn't let me come in when you were first brought here. Something about how serious it was, and she seems to be like fumbling over herself, trying to figure out like how best to kind of collect herself.
Well, yes, I was shot in the chest a bit.
I brought some books. I don't know how long they're keeping you in here, but I thought that some of these they're my favorites. I thought you might want to read them while you're still here.
Oh well, that's very nice of you. I quite frankly, I didn't think anybody was going to come see me.
There's just like, she almost looks like she wants to make a joke or say something, and then she's just, why did you do that? Why did you do that? No one would have jumped in front of a bullet for me.
Your Highness, I've been rather thinking about it for some time, and I've got to say I'm not quite sure. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time, heat of the moment, all that. I sort of, all right. So, you know Elaine, right?
Elaine?
Yes, Elaine. She was with us in the woods. She's
Yeah, I know Elaine.
yes,
I'm
the
so
dancer.
Confused.
Well, you know, you're a princess. I'm a soldier, and it is proper that a soldier should protect a princess. So, I figured. Well, I thought it would be rather impressive if I executed my duty towards you.
Oh!
It turns out it wasn't very impressive at all.
It wasn't impressive to Elaine.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen her.
She hasn't come visit?
No, not yet. Quite frankly, I think that's for the best. I quite frankly wouldn't want to see her.
Why? Why not?
Well, Your Highness, I made rather a fool of myself, I believe.
You almost died for executing your duty. I don't think that's foolish. I think that's braver than anybody else in the trial. And if she doesn't see that, then frankly, I think she's blind.
Can I poke for a move here?
Oh boy.
Is Lilu trying to turn someone on?
Lilu has definitely developed a small crush and is doing her best to not let you know that, given what you just told her.
Yeah, because I would kind of like to gauge Milo's reaction on a move if that's cool.
Yeah? How do we do
But
this?
I mean a move on your part.
So,
Oh.
yeah, roll to
Why
turn him
do
on.
it?
Mm-hmm. Roll with hot.
Oh no, Lilu.
Oh,
You
God.
did this too, honey. Well, I mark experience.
So,
Oh, shit!
it's a fail.
That's a big fail. That is a 5.
Yeah, okay.
Just barely. Just barely.
So, yeah, Milo's going to remain oblivious here.
Were you using his new condition?
The reckless?
Saying how brave his reckless action was.
Oh.
That would bump it to a 6.
A whole 6?
Still a failure.
Yeah, that's right.
But,
that's right.
Big ol' 6 failure.
Right.
But you can have it.
I'll take it.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, so Milo kind of looks away and he's embarrassed. I think his face reddens. And he doesn't make eye contact with you. He doesn't sort of turn back to you as he continues speaking. Well, Princess Lulu, it's all very nice of you to say, but, well, the truth is I'm a failure. There's no two ways about it. I failed the trial. I made a fool of myself in front of Elaine and in front of yourself. And, well, quite frankly, it's become clear that there's no place for me here.
No.
I'm not cut out for all this.
That's not true. If anything, there's no place for me. You saw what happened afterwards. You wouldn't have gotten shot if it wasn't for me. That's not on you. Who else in that entire trial would have done what you did?
Well, anyone who was on the side of good would have. I just got there first.
Yeah. I guess you just got there first.
Milo is trying to shut you down.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to roll for that.
Roll with cold.
Nope.
We have not rolled this move yet.
It fell twice. Yeah, so plus cold, which due to recent experience, I've now bumped up to 0 from -1. So we're looking at an 8.
Okay, on a 7 through 9, choose one from below. But you come across poorly, and Lilu gives you a condition in return.
Yeah, okay. So lose a string on me. Have no strings. Do you have strings on me,
I have
Lulu?
2.
2, okay. So, gain a condition, take 1 forward. I don't want to agonize over this too much. I'm going to say lose a string.
Okay.
So, so Lilu is going to lose one of her strings on Milo. I'm sorry, Princess. It was very nice of you to come visit me, and I appreciate the sentiment, and I will certainly enjoy the books. But, well, as soon as I'm out and I'm well enough, I'm going to leave.
Well, I hope that you reconsider that, because I think that you do have a place in this school, and what you did was the most heroic thing out of any of the other so-called Evers here. And you shouldn't be embarrassed by it. They should be embarrassed that they didn't think to do it first then. And Lilu stands up and sort of like has a hand on the stack of books that's there and is almost turning away. And she says, "You don't need to call me princess. Lilu is fine. I don't think I'm really deserving of that title anyway." And she just walks out the door.
Yeah, and Milo doesn't have anything to say to that. I think we just see him sitting there in bed, looking after her.
The door is left ajar. I imagine that you just like run out, and the door's left open. And as it slowly shuts behind you, we see Elaine, cleaned up, wearing a freshened school uniform, holding a basket of pastries, and
This
looking
crispy little biscuit.
and she has a look of sadness, and she looks a little forlorn, and she looks at the door as it's shutting, and quickly walks away. So, thanks everyone for tuning in over the last 15 minutes. We've gotten started with
We're
some good
starting
drama.
out hot, kiddos.
Oh yeah, that went about as well as I had imagined it was going to.
So sad.
Great Zamino,
gonna get
thank you for
worse.
being here always. The Artistically Inclined and Town of Salem Addiction, thanks for coming back. We're glad to continue our journey through the school for evil and good. Oh, and Mark likes music. Thanks for being here. I think probably a week passes as we head towards the end of the year. And I have to imagine we're back in the school for evil at this point. Trip and Shanach, where are you?
I had this image of when, Lilu and Milo were talking about Milo getting shot, and it's very sad. And then I had this mental image of it cutting to Shinnok and Trip, like surrounded by nevers going, shots, 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 shots. Just
Of party juice.
of
Right.
apple
Cider.
cider.
Vinegar.
Yes. Oh my god. I will die.
You know that's a thing somewhere.
That's a thing here. That's a thing people do.
Yeah, I'm not, I can't get into it. Disgusting. But I mean, if it's a week later,
You have been enjoying your status as school captains. Like the two of you have officially been named as captains for the School for Evil. Trip and Chinook are ranked 1 and 2, and I feel like throughout your classes you're constantly like trading those spots off, doing well where the other does not, sort of thing.
I think Trip is deeply uncomfortable with the amount of attention he's receiving and is not thrilled with any sort of focus and attention being paid. Even positive attention and knocking over beer cans.
Shinnok she definitely loves it.
She's eating it up.
She's eating it up. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she loves this. She's very proud of herself. And I think she's proud of Trip too. Definitely, doing the whole Will Smith thing, which probably makes Trip like super uncomfortable, but she's like, yeah, look at us.
Trip's just like, hi.
In light of that, I think that, oh man, okay, so I have this vision in my brain of like a bathroom. So you've been in a bathroom where like a dog is getting a bath, right? And there's just water everywhere. The dog isn't happy. The dog isn't happy. The human isn't happy. Like nothing is going right. I think I have this vision of Shinnok trying to clean Trip up a little bit.
I picture that there's a haircut in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of backing away involved in that. Like just kind of like, but do I don't really have to do that, right? I mean, this is fun. This is fine. It's never been a problem before, and there's probably some cornering going on there.
So we're in the groom room. Each school has a groom room where the top students get to use that instead of like the public kind of bathrooms and showers. So it is like very much like there's a big pool in the center with like all of the amenities you could want or need regarding clothing and cosmetics and hygiene.
Like, I took a shower yesterday. I'm probably pretty good.
Oh my goodness. I just think you would feel so much better, with like that, so Trip's hair it's long?
It's less, it's actually probably a lot more like where mine's at right about now and where it's about to be, which has not been cut in too long.
Okay. What if I just...
I have the exact perfect description.
Yes.
It's fucking Sam Winchester in early Supernatural seasons.
Yes.
It's that hair. Like, cut that shit off.
Okay, but I can make it look... It'll look really, really good, and it'll feel... Look, okay. We're just gonna start by washing your hair. It'll feel really good. Have you ever had anyone wash your hair before?
No.
Okay. It's like getting a massage. You've had a massage, right?
Nope.
I think she looks really sad, and she says, Okay, let's start. So this is what a massage is, right? And she's gonna start she's just gonna do like the squeezing the shoulder the what are these? Oh, not triceps. Oh, lats? I don't know. She's gonna start squeezing his shoulders.
I forget what that is.
Tendons. Shoulder tendons.
Traps.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
The artistically, yeah. The trapezoids.
Yeah, thirst traps more like.
Wink. So she's just gonna start like squeezing that like very gently, and then like do the shoulder blades and look for knots and things like that. I'm sure there's a ton. And she's gonna say, "That's good. That's nice, right?"
Yeah, I can't say it's unpleasant.
Okay, so
And like I think at this point, Trip is both visibly like kind of like, but also like that feels good. And where are we in the room?
that's a good question.
Are you in the tub?
Heck yeah, hot tub. Okay. Shinnok is gonna roll to turn someone on. Well, actually, I'd rather state the action. I think she's going to keep rubbing his shoulder blades, and she's gonna say, "Now I'm just gonna do this on your head, okay? And I promise it's gonna feel really good, and then I can keep going on your back." And she's gonna sort of spin him around and do the whole blinky,
Mm-hmm.
batting the eyelashes.
That's the technical term, folks. The blinky.
Yeah, the blinky. That's what I
Always
call
wanted
it.
to know what it was called.
So may I roll to turn someone on? Trip specifically?
Yep. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good from my end.
Yeah, consent
The lack
is
of-
key when trying to turn someone on.
Yep. I'm laughing at the great Samino. Chaperones are the lack of chaperones is indeed a feature and not a bug.
Yes. So that is going to be I can do math. 8 plus 3, which is 11.
That's hot.
Woohoo! Yeah! Hot tub!
So, yeah, you will take a string on Trip.
Yes!
And then Trip gets to choose a reaction from below. So either he gives himself to you, he promises something he thinks you want, or he gets embarrassed and acts awkward.
I think that's a give like, yeah. Or, that could fall either way, but give myself to you in this case because there's like a physical trust aspect to it.
Yeah.
So I kind of picture that there's a certain amount of like just posture relaxing and like Trip's just kind of like oh.
Yeah.
Is like this is good. This feels good, and like there's a sudden there's a visible sinking into the water.
He does the doggy leg thing. When you scratch them in the right spot, they keep their leg. But yeah, she's gonna wash his hair. And as he's sort of sinking into the water, she's gonna say, "Now, this hair, it wouldn't get in your face as much, and it would be a lot easier for you to take care of, which means not as much time washing it or getting things tangled in. If you just let me cut it just a little bit, I'll make it look, you can have some of the longer stuff on top, but and I can shave the sides and it'll look really cool."
Or just kind of, you know what? Go ahead. I trust you.
Okay. So she's gonna. I feel like she should roll for that.
No,
But,
I think
I
think
think
we all trust Shinnok to know what she's doing here.
yeah, with hair.
She's shown herself to be
But-
the most stylish, I think, out of everyone in class in group 13. At least
I think
from what I've
yeah.
If anything, the last roll you made carries forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's going to, shave the sides, give him a nice faux hawk. Probably, I'm probably not gonna shave something into the side of his head, though that would be cool, like a cool wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I think she tries, and then it doesn't work, so she has to go like a shorter. Like, oh, that did not look good. Don't worry, everything's fine.
I think Trip is very oblivious to this and is just kind of like on edge, just kind of like very, very still.
Maybe he enjoys the physical closeness.
Like the pampering is nice, but like also like we're in the middle of a room and then there's like, are there other people here?
I feel like you've got it at a moment to yourselves. It's only the top students, so yeah, not everyone gets access.
I think Shinnok would have taken you at a not peak hour, because she's not. She knows that she wants to give Trip a haircut. She's gonna make sure he's as comfortable, or the least amount of uncomfortable, because we.
Right.
Yes.
After the bedtime rush.
So I think she's going to, buzz the sides of his head, and when she's done, she'll call over one of those. There are like magic enchanted mirrors there, right?
There are mirrors inside the groom room.
Mirror, could you come here for a moment?
So, like, we see this black wooden mirror in a gnarled and knobby frame, just kind of like dance on two legs as it like hobbles on the wet, slick stone.
Damn, Chris, talk home decor to me. Like,
Do you want to take a look?
so yeah, Trip's just kind of like.
And as you're looking at yourself in the mirror, the door opens up from the inside, not inside the reflection, but you see within the reflection that the door behind you both opens, and stepping through with a black towel and a little bag of toiletries and things to change into is Fang, from your class as well as from the trial. His hawk is nowhere to be seen. He's not with him at the moment. But as he steps in and looks up and sees the two of you, he goes, "Oh, sorry."
That's okay.
Trip just definitely does not say that's okay. Trip just kind of like turns and just stares.
And he just kind of like locks eyes with you for a minute, Trip, through the reflection, but quickly just turns and goes over to a little sink where he maybe starts washing his face or brushing his teeth.
I'm very specifically imagining Fang holding a little bath towel over his arm, the way that he would hold a falconer's glove.
Yes, that is the way.
As he's walking around the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Absolutely. So he's
That
just
is
kinda
so canon.
and he goes and he sits down, and he starts, doing his evening routine as you're wrapping up the haircut.
All right.
So, what do you think?
Trip basically snaps back to attention and is just kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, Sean, it looks real good.
Thank you.
This is something else.
I'm glad you like it. I knew you would. Thank you for letting me cut your hair. It means a lot.
I think Trip's very distracted by the fact that Fang's here now. It's just kind of like,
Why don't we head down to the to the dining hall? Yeah, to the dining hall, and we can let's grab something to eat. I heard they have the huge drumsticks that you really like.
We did say it was after the bedtime rush.
Oh, dang it! Is the dining hall closed? There's got to be like a black market dining hall.
it's where you get those good weird Pop-Tart flavors. There's like a Pop-Tart economy.
I suppose there might be a Never student, an enterprising one that has set up a Pop-Tart
Chris,
market.
what's their name? What is this enterprising food distributor's name?
While I think about that, hey Revan 5. Thanks for joining us. We are playing Monster Hearts 2, which you can get a quick Google. And we have set it within the book series, The School for Good and Evil. Thanks for joining us. But yes, there is an enterprising Never student who, her name is Peppermint Petty.
Did you say Peppermint Petty?
I hate you so much. Our friendship will never recover from this.
I'm dying. I'm
never.
dying.
Peppermint Petty of Candyland.
Oh, boy.
Writing it down.
She has a Never friend, another student that follows her around. We'll have to come up with a name and a persona for her later, but it'll be pretty easy to figure it out. Peppermint Petty. So yeah, you can head over to her room and pick up some late night snacks.
So mint thins. Trip, do you think we should? I heard Milo was in the infirmary. Do you think we should sneak in and visit him? I haven't seen Lilu around. She hasn't been. I mean, Lilu, have you been showing up to class?
Well, so the only place where you would, well, there would be the Surviving Fairy Tales class, and then there's lunch in the clearing.
I think she is showing up to class, that she's just sitting in the back and not participating. But she's like doing her work.
And you're probably not showing up to lunch.
Nope.
Yeah. She's also, Lilu's been, I feel like, avoiding us. I mean, that can't be it, but
You're really sure that Milo is going to want to talk to us after what went down at the trial?
what did go down? I saw you shove him against the wall. What was that about?
So you probably visibly see Trip just kind of closes up physically, and just kind of has a lot of. There's a very, very brief but intense face journey. He's just that's a little bit of a long story.
Okay, you'll have to tell me some other time. But if you think he wouldn't want to see us.
I mean, he might want to see you. I don't know about me though.
Fang's kind of in the corner.
Does he actually clear his throat?
Yes.
He definitely does.
Yes.
Trip
he does.
immediately
Please.
turns and just growls at him.
There's a moment where I feel like his face, he's very stoic, and so like there's a brief moment in his eyes where he's taken aback, and then, do you really think that those ever students are your friends? You saw the way they all banded up inside the caves.
They don't have to be friends to be useful.
So they're just tools to you then?
Trip is going to very dramatically punctuate this by putting on a t-shirt. Like, so I imagine he just wears a lot of plain black tees and just puts on a t-shirt, just very over flexing the whole 9 yards, like while he's talking.
You're flexing for him?
At more.
I feel like you're trying to turn him on, maybe?
Oh.
I'm not gonna say that's not entirely true. I left my good dice out in the other room, so let's see how these bad boys play out. Let me actually hold on. Yeah, that's a dice that has numbers on it. That's important. Oh,
Good for this.
all
game.
right. That is 9 minus 1, so that is an 8.
Okay. So Fang can either give you a string or choose one of the reactions. So he's going to get embarrassed and act awkward, because that feels like kind of what you're almost trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're saying that, and he turns to you, like he's talking to you, but his eyes are just kind of like looking over to Trip in the corner and getting a little visibly flustered.
Shinnok notes this and smirks, but says nothing for now.
It's clear that the two of you are going places. I wanted myself to be in the front. And he kind of looks like between the two of you, darts his eyes. But it seems I am lacking.
Well, just gotta try harder, I guess. Or try smarter. The Evers, rather. They win because many defeat one. The reason Trip and I are in the front is because, again, many defeat one. Nevers are more powerful than Evers. And together, we can take them down.
Together. Would you want to study together sometime?
So I think this is another time where Trip doesn't really like talking too much, but is just gonna kind of sidle up behind Shinnok and just kind of just lurk, just using his presence as kind of a weight.
And his eyes, like as you're like as soon as you lock into that heaviness, his eyes lock into yours. Master Trip, would you want to study together sometime? And he's going to offer you a string. He has 2 strings on you.
Ooh.
So you can take experience for accepting the string.
And Trip's definitely going to glance at Shinnok.
I think if possible, I think Shinnok is also going to pull one of her strings on Trip. And she's going to say, Trip and I would love to study with you sometime. And I would like to roll to turn on Faye.
Oh, everyone's turning everyone on.
Look, these are teenagers. Dang it.
And we are also in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Word.
Like a fancy, exquisite bathroom.
There's been a lot of. Did you see?
I did say yeet, and that was because I got a 12. 9 plus 3.
So
It's the only thing Shinnok can do.
grab a string
that
on
tonight.
Fang. And they choose a reaction from below. Give myself, promise something I think you want. Ooh. So, okay, so let's you say that to Trip. Let's teach him. And I think his eyes grow hungry in the bathroom candlelight. Torches? They must have some sort of magical sconces in here.
Well, it's probably like, yeah, it's probably like inside glass though, so you get that good reflection.
It's almost like we're in a cavern. But his
The
eyes
glass
grow...
is colored in some manner, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's like a green tinge to the light in here. And his eyes grow hungry as he stares at the pair of you.
Yeah, we look good now too.
And he just bows his head. Use me, for I am a willing tool. And he offers something he thinks you want.
I guess which would be himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shinnok winks at him, and says, "We'll be seeing you then." And then turns around, she's been getting dressed, I think, and beckons to Trip, and she says, "Come along. We have mint thins to get."
So Trip was definitely kind of distracted by all this, but like mint thins, boom, attention gained.
He's back in.
That mean with the laser eyes?
Yeah,
activated.
Just like, dope. That means I hit my 5th experience.
Woo!
Great.
I get to do things.
Experience
So-
points.
So some game mechanic stuff. Item 1, seems like y'all are building a gang, which is something that is a mechanical thing in the game.
Let's build a gang.
Just want to point that out. Also, did our 2 young hormone-crazed lovers' intimacy moves pop off from that scene? As they shared an intimate moment.
I feel like we ended last week, like the last time we saw them, they were sharing an intimate moment. And so I think they would have had it not been interrupted by Fang.
I concur with that. I think that there was a little bit too much anxiety for Trip. Though I will also say that my only current condition is in fact grubby, which I feel like may have been resolved with my rad new faux hawk hairdo.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And
Grubby no more. Grubby be gone.
Oh.
grubby be gone.
Also, just to give a little bit of insight into Shinnok's state of mind, if I can, I think after the events at the in the caves, she is, and becoming closer with Trip. I think, she's since then taken on a little bit of Trip's, trust, trust those you're close to and, trust no one else. And when at first she's like, fork the system, nevers and nevers, that doesn't mean anything. I think she saw, or at least perceived, what she perceived as, there wasn't really much of a distinction between nevers and evers in those caves. And I think that's leading her, that's definitely bouncing around in her brain right now.
That the ogre probably wouldn't have cared what school each student came from.
Yeah, and also just like the Evers can be just as violent and bloodthirsty as the Nevers are supposed to be. And what does that mean? And I don't know. So that's where she's at.
Yeah, but you're putting up a front and like pulling a manipulation for your ever peers.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I want to take us a little flash forward again. I think maybe the last day of classes, or I feel like we need to get the whole group back together at some point. It's been more than enough time for Milo to heal any harm, as well as everyone else to heal any harm that you may or may not have.
Oh, should we clear everything? Because I was just going to clear one.
Well, I definitely think because you had a moment earlier that you could clear two with Lilu, even though it wasn't did not go the way she wanted it to, per se.
It didn't end well, but the intention was
Right.
Was in the right place.
I'm not sure with Monster Hearts. I know that the harm you can heal one harm per session, which maybe it just means
it's two if somebody treats you intimately.
Right. So I think that's what Lilu and Milo were doing. So Milo, if you remove two, does that bring it back down to one?
Yeah. So I'll be at one.
We'll leave
which
it there for now.
Seems fine to me.
Yeah. And
so technically, I'm still at 1.
Okay. We could count that session earlier in the infirmary if you'd like to lower it.
Oh no, I'd like to include that as heartbreak.
Got it. Great. Great.
Oh. I just put it out in there in the chat. I think I'm gonna put in a stat into something, but I haven't decided where to put that. So it's out of. I believe I phrased it as aggressive, hot with an AW, or magic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my preference based on the scene we just saw is I think Trip is hotter now.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Got a new look, up that hot, but that's only my opinion.
I'll give it a little bit. Then we got 2 for hot, and then 1 for Mujik.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel like we need to get back, and I think we get back to the last day of classes. Group 13 meets for the final class right before winter break kicks off. Milo's back. Lilu, are you missing? Do you skip?
I don't know if I'm really allowed to do that.
Right.
I do think that she looks horrible. Just horrible, and is like just standing as far back as she can in the group, like as if like she can feel everybody's eyes, or if there was any gossip around the school that she's been dealing with for the last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of an interesting question. Has there been gossip? Sorry,
yeah,
I just put an ice cube in my mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what's the hot goss?
What is the hot? Spill the tea,
Chris.
Spill the tea. A lot of the students are blaming you for the Evers having lost the trial by tail.
Me or
they're blaming
Milo?
They're blaming you. There's been talk that Milo got shot, but nobody's really surprised that a Nevers student smuggled in a prohibited weapon.
I'm sure that Lilu would have talked privately with some faculty about how that happened.
And Merlin assures you that he has spoken with Dean Morgan Le Fay about it, and that the two deans are... They can't do anything without being able to prove that Professor Gaston gave Dude of Gisborne the musket.
Dude, goddamn.
Dude of Gisborne.
Why are we like this?
Because it's funny.
So, is Group 13 in the clearing?
We've moved past the clearing and into the Blue Forest proper, where we're meeting for our lessons. There is a light dusting of snow on the ground, and everyone's bundled up. But Consus, the centaur, and his little yellow bird friend, he's wearing like a long cloak. And he's actually handing out small little bags of flavored popcorn as a holiday gift, for the winter break. And literally, just as soon as the whole group is together, he just wishes you all a happy New Year, and please enjoy the break as it is now starting early.
Woo! Christmas break, winter break. What does Lilu look like?
Bad.
How bad?
I mean, she's clearly not, like, taking care of, like, herself all that much. Like, her hair is, like, messier than it was when she was first visiting Milo. Like, her uniform is all rumpled. It's clear she hasn't really been sleeping all that well. She doesn't have, like, her usual, like, bag of books and homework that she's usually very meticulous about. It's just also very clear that, like, all of any, like, even nervous, shy excitement is just completely gone from, like, her golden eyes. They're just very dull yellow, kind of listless. She's definitely asked the faculty if she can stay on campus. She does not want to go home. Like, she just looks completely, like, beaten down by the attitude of the other students and everything that happened.
I think as the class is, he just let the class go, right? Yeah. Shinnok takes this in and I think feels a little bad for Lilu. Like, she does not look good. And you've been coming to class, so we've probably been seeing you go down and down.
Gradual decay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she's gonna sort of sidle up to Lilu and say, "Oh shoot. Okay, I got it. Okay. No.
She's
okay,
definitely walking away, but slowly.
She's gonna catch up, and she's gonna say, "So, what you doing for break? You going home to Belle and the Fuzzy Wuzzy Beast?" Huh?
I had asked if I could stay on campus. No one said anything yet. Don't really feel like going home right now. She's confused why you're even talking to her. Like, she's just, like, staring at you like, what even?
So you're not going home?
I would like to not, given everything that happened. Yeah.
So as soon as she says, "I would like to not," Shinnok smiles and she says, "Okay, great. So, are you doing anything right now? No? Okay. So let's no offense, but you look kind of awful. So we're gonna go to the groom room. And I would like
so the issue is that each school has their own groom room, but the students can't travel back and forth between the schools.
Can I sneak her in?
You could try, but there are certain protections. So just during the day, like going through the tunnels, any faculty would be like, no, don't come in. There is a bridge.
Can you sneak supplies out?
There is that, you could. There is a bridge that connects the two schools, but there is a magical barrier in between. I don't know if any of you have tried using that passage yet. So you're not exactly sure what the barrier is. You've just heard about it. But you do know that the lake is enchanted to form these watery tentacles and pick up students that are in places where they're not supposed to be. Not saying it's impossible, just that there are challenges.
Okay, so Shinnok probably wouldn't have.
But per David's idea of bringing supplies out.
Right.
Also, there's nothing to say we can't heat up a body of water. Real quick question for David while you're thinking about that. Ye of great knowledge on this mechanical system. If I put a point into an ability that's -1, it goes to 0, yes?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Trip's getting hotter.
Yeah, that's how I have 0 cold, because I started with -1.
So I think she is. Are there places where Nevers and Evers can meet? Like, I mean, I know there are some places, there are clearings.
Right.
Are there any?
Yeah, this clearing. There are also, the theaters. So they're like, but there's it's a special place that teleports between the two schools, depending on who wins the Circus of Talents. And that theater will go back and forth. So right now the Circus of Talents is sitting in the Evers School. So maybe you could try and find a spot there to sneak over into.
Okay. And then, okay. So, okay. So Shinnok she's still gonna, run up to Lilu, and she's gonna say, when was the last time you visited the groom room, or like slept or like ate?
I also feel like Lilu probably would have lost access to the groom room. She already didn't make the top 10, and if she's doing poorly in classes, she's dropping her rank. In fact, there may have been a warning at some point that you're slipping into sidekick territory.
Why do you care? Look, okay, you won and you deserve that. I'm not mad about that, but you can stop pretending to be my friend. It's okay. I'm pretty sure the only other friend that I thought I had did that too, so, you don't have to put on an act anymore. It's fine.
Oh. Okay.
I'm super sorry about what happened in the cave. But you also said that you were going to help us, and then you kind of came in. It was weird, but the whole place was weird, and it was doing things to people, so I don't blame you. It's totally fine if, you're still mad at me, and maybe you're trying to set me up for some kind of really funny prank, because I know everyone else in this school blames me for the fact that the Evers lost, and that's fine. It's kind of what I expected, actually, but I think I would just super appreciate if you didn't just lie to my face, so thanks.
First of all, I do not pull pranks on people who don't deserve it. Second of all, I can tell that you're determined to blame yourself for what happened and hate yourself for what happened. But don't you think it's kind of ridiculous that everybody in the Evers School was discounting you and tearing you down and bullying you, and then conveniently you're the reason why the Evers lost? I mean, no offense, Lilu, but the Evers lost because they couldn't get their shirt together. And look, if everybody really, I mean, I have heard the rumors. But that's neither here nor there. What would I have to gain by pranking you or pretending? Really, like being seen with you lowers my standing. But not that I.
Oh,
but I don't care. I don't care. Which is why.
What do you want? What do you want? I know like Nevers aren't really friends with Evers. It's not about the trial. You think that like it's really about the trial? I said before, I'm glad you won. You deserve to win. That's true. It's just logic. But like, I thought that, I don't know, that we were all friends, and then I find out that even one ever friend that I had was really just hanging around me because he thought it was his job, because I'm a princess. I don't know why you and Trip are hanging out outside of you think you might get something from us, but clearly, as you said yourself, there's nothing that you can get here. So I've learned my lesson. It's one I should have stuck to before I came here. I get it. I don't think that I deserve to be in the Evers school either. You saw what I did. If anything, they should be transferring me over to the Never school.
Personally, I think you would find the Never school very freeing, Lilu. And second of all, if they're going to transfer anybody, it's going to be Farquaad or, Farkas or Trips rubbing off on me. Or Chanticleer. I can't remember ever names, but listen, and I think she sort of pulls Lilu to the side, and she says, "You aren't the only one with a curse you didn't ask for. And you are, as someone who can relate to that, it makes me really angry to see you not I don't know, you have such power. You don't deserve to let these people treat you. And Milo, really, did Milo like dump you or something?
We weren't dating. And like she visibly looks like shocked and a little like humiliated by that.
Oh, okay. Lilu, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said in the caves. And I'm not pretending to be your friend. And it makes me sad to see you like this, and that's why I'm offering to help. Because I don't want to go home either.
Why? Why not?
You know, when my parents found out about Reynard, it kind of tore, you know, I mean, I was slated to, I was supposed to be an Ever, you know, and it kind of tore them apart, and I just can't go back there and see them and know, you know, it's my fault, and like I said, the Never School has been freeing, and I don't want to go back into my cage.
I never understood why you got into the Never. I was shocked when I saw you for a number of reasons, but when we were kids, you weren't mean. You never did anything wrong. In fact, you were probably the best out of the both of us. If anything, like, again, I should be in the Never School. I'm the one that said that we couldn't ever see each other again. And I was stupid, and I was little, and I was just scared of disappointing my dad. It had nothing to do with you, and you didn't deserve that, and I'm sorry. And I never got a chance to tell you, and I kept thinking of ways to do that all throughout the rest of the semester, and none of them sounded good, and this doesn't sound that great either, but it's the best that I can do on 3 hours of sleep in the last few days.
I'm not gonna lie, it hurt a lot. A lot of my friends left me after they found out. But
well, then they're stupid jerks.
I forgive you. And, you know, not to say like your dad's a jerk or anything, but like, you know what? I can say, you know what? He was kind of a jerk. I was a kid, and it's not your fault. You were a kid. We were kids, and it's fine. And you know what? Fork all those people that say we're not good enough. And you know what? We're gonna get you a bath, and then I'm gonna give you some fairy tale melatonin, and it's gonna be fine. And then I'll go beat up Milo for you. No. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. She's thinking about it.
Gets Trip to do it.
She's definitely thinking about it. It's winter break. There are no rules at all. Nope, there are no rules because it's winter break.
I don't really know what to do with that.
And it's gonna be fine.
I think she reaches out and like tentatively like is fishing for like your hand.
Oh, she like squishes you in a hug. She's like, come here. Ugh, and like squishes her really hard.
Okay. Can't really breathe.
And she's gonna squeeze harder and spin her around and then put her down.
Okay, yeah, the bath kind of does sound nice.
Yeah, trust me. I got Trip to take a bath. I'm an expert. You're in good hands. And Shinnok does mean some of this. Most of this. I mean, all of this. She means all of it.
Understood.
My heart stopped for a second.
No. She means it. I just mean to say, like, Shinnok is conflicted.
Yeah.
But she means what she said.
Yeah, and I think Lilu isn't like all of a sudden like A+, but she's letting some of her guard down just a little bit to let you back in.
Yay.
I think that is an excellent note for us to go to our break.
Woo!
It's nice to see that old friends have become new friends once again. Even while new friends are becoming ex-friends.
Oh, that depends.
We'll see right after this short break. Thanks everyone for being with us. An anonymous cheerer, we respect your anonymity. Thank you for cheering. And yeah, we will be back momentarily, folks, so don't turn that dial. And welcome back to the School for Evil and Good, ManaPot Studios' Monster Heart stream. Whilst Lilu and Shinnok are having their conversation on the edge of the clearing inside the Blue Forest, we see Milo walking back towards the School for Good, followed by Trip.
I would say a decent distance away. Just kind of a little bit prowly, a little bit not moving too fast, not moving too slow.
And Milo, who are you following?
My own dumb instincts. Milo came to class with a knapsack, and his plan is to march into the woods.
So you're not marching towards the school, you're marching away from it.
Yeah, I'm marching into the woods behind the school.
Okay.
With grim determination. I think I look really cool, and I just look like a doofus who doesn't know where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I know this isn't true, but I'm just picturing cargo shorts.
Trip.
No, our boy is, of course. I think actually this might be notable. Milo probably came to class knowing it was the last class of the, before the break. Probably came to class in his Ingari cadet uniform rather than his School for Good uniform. So yeah, Trip, I think you actually see him past the tree line.
And Trip doesn't hesitate. He's just gonna, I think, maybe sidle slightly. What time is it?
It's late afternoon, so the sun is setting, because it is winter.
Which direction?
The sun.
Is he headed? No, not which direction is the sunset.
Well, listen, this is a fairy tale world. Things are magical. The sun could rise and set in any place.
Sets in the
we
west.
gotta expand our imaginations.
Trip's just going to be coming from the direction that is the least likely to escape notice. So he's going to be aiming for having light and the wind be upwind or downwind of him, and also ideally where the light is kind of adding a little bit to the obfuscation of his sneaky.
So you're trying to not let Milo see you.
For a little bit. I think he's kind of curious as to where exactly the heck he thinks he's going.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to make a move here, and I'm not entirely sure which one. And I think the results of the move will determine who spots whom, and in what way this resolves. So,
well, Trip's already spotted you. I mean, he's waiting to see what you're doing. So, without being unimpeded, Milo, you're making your way into the woods.
Yeah. So could I roll to either keep my cool to march into the dangerous, scary woods, or to run away because I'm running away?
No, you're about to step into a place that the one defining characteristic of this world is the woods, and they are dark and dreary and dangerous. So yeah. What are you afraid of as you're getting ready to step into the endless woods proper?
What am I afraid of? I'm determined to go into this scary place. So I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I'm not afraid of dying. Honestly,
he tells himself.
Yeah, right, he tells himself. I think what Milo is afraid of is this won't work somehow. That he won't be able to get away. from the school. Is that reasonable? Or do I
That's
need
just the
a more
surface
concrete
fear.
danger?
Like that's the symptom of the fear.
I would say the underlying thing is definitely volatile. The actual action is cold.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of it's a delicate balance there. I would say.
I'd say totally like that he won't be able to get away. But the real question is, why is he afraid to stay? But I guess we didn't ask that question.
Yeah. So then the deeper thing that Milo is afraid of is that he will be exposed as a fraud. That he is not a competent, confident, upstanding soldier for good, that he is just a bumbling idiot who can't get anything right, and everybody will know that.
Roll with cold and act despite your fear.
Okay, well... We're at a 6. We're at a flat 6, and I don't think there's anything I can do to increase that.
I mean, you can't...
unless we, made up some retroactive stuff about other moves.
Right, you can't use conditions that you yourself have.
Unless you have an ability that lets you do it.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I cannot make use of my own conditions, so I'm just at a 6. There's no two ways about it, folks.
And I think you're standing frozen at the periphery into the dark, endless woods.
Yeah, and I'm taking what I'm trying to calm my breathing, but I'm actually taking very sort of as I sort of clutch the straps of my knapsack.
How far into the woods are you?
He's about to step through the border.
I'm standing next to the first tree.
All right, I think Trip's gonna wait, just watch and wait at this point, see if he actually goes in.
I mean, he's not moving. A Trip, you can see that he is frozen with
How
fear.
how far is everybody else from this?
Far
Is there
enough.
anybody-
You're pretty secluded over here.
Thanks for answering my super creepy question.
Mm-hmm.
Trip is just gonna walk up and leg sweep him.
This feels like we're lashing out.
Yes.
Are we okay with that, David?
Yep, do it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Oh!
Shut up.
Oh!
You're so bad.
Oh, no, you have to. I'm gonna see if I can do this properly. But, so that is a little dagger. That's a 6. And that is very hard to see in this light.
Yeah.
It is
That's another
also a
6.
6.
Ooh.
So that is a total of
Dang.
13.
God.
So, take harm. And,
Sure.
You choke up momentarily, so you're tripped. I think by trip.
Awful.
Living up to his... Finally, it comes full circle.
Right. Yeah.
So I think Trip just kind of quietly walks right up behind you, and the next thing you know, with this skim of snow on the ground, just a quick leg sweep, and you're falling.
Yeah.
And then Trip's just gonna sit on your chest.
Yeah, and I'm struggling on the ground, writhing around in the
But you got your-
this sort of light snowfall.
You've got your backpack on. There's
And it's making everything worse because if you're on the ground and you have a backpack on and it's constricting your movement.
and trying to get any anything to push off of is extra hard because there's snowy, slippery leaves on the ground.
Yeah.
And so Trip
What the hell are you doing?
just goes, I told you we weren't done with this conversation. And you seem to be having some sorry, I'm coming up with bad words. Some daring ideas about some daring fool ideas about wandering off into the endless woods. And
Well, it's none of your God's damn business, if you'll excuse my language.
Trip's just gonna punch him in the face. don't know why I'm like this, guys.
Oh my god, what are you trying to do? I guess lash out. I feel like you might act like...
That's a
well,
10. 9
my
plus
God.
1.
Oh,
So he's kind of pummeling Milo.
No, just...
am I taking harm for that again?
That's another harm. And
Yeah.
I think one
you're
right to the
stunned.
face. This is more of a stop talking kind of punch. And he's just like...
He's not smart enough to get that.
He's just like, I wasn't done talking. Leans down, just kind of...
That
and
didn't
I would say,
feel like talking to me, Trip.
and at this point, I would say that we are in very real danger of Trip's darkest self coming out. And so there's probably, his voice is just getting a lot more growly and guttural. And you're probably starting to see some of that retro-reflective chromatism coming out of his, and the little bit of light that there's left is just getting low, real close, real growly. And he's just like, you want to tell me why you smell? And I am coming to, just side note, this is not real science. So, and I know that, don't at me. You want to tell me why you smell like silver nitrate all the damn time?
Oh my god.
What? You followed me here and you beat the crap out of me to ask me that? I don't know what's wrong with you, Trip.
And Trip's just gonna lean in a little bit more and just go, I can smell it on you.
All right, I'll tell you why. If you get off me first, you big ape.
Nah.
I'm trying to shut Trip down.
I was thinking we were going to head in that direction.
David,
Yeah.
just, you good?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Checking in is always wise.
Especially when you're beating the crap out of each other.
Well,
Lord.
it's a one-sided beating at this point.
That's true.
Yeah.
So roll with cold, Mike.
I'm gonna roll plus cold here. Okay, so we're at a 7.
Okay.
So I can choose one from below, and you give me a condition in return.
Because you come across as poorly.
Yeah. Trip, from Milo's perspective, I think he wants to give you the condition bully.
No, I think.
No,
Trip
I
gives
give you a condition. You get to choose.
No.
They gain a condition is also an action.
So gain it. So I'm taking the option from shut someone down, gain a condition. So we're each giving each other a condition.
Okay.
Condition war.
Yeah.
Ooh. I guess okay, so bully. All right. I'm trying to think of exactly what especially since I'm trying to think of like exactly how this would play out, because it's Trip's not really the type of person to go around mouthing off. So it's probably not like a social condition. It's just something that I know about you.
Yeah.
And will directly affect the way we interact.
I mean, conditions can be used by everyone. So even if it's not necessarily gossip, it is something that is happening to Milo.
And it's something that he feels, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's more...
Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarification. I mechanically, like, I'm always a little bit weird about the Monster Heart system, or the Powered by the Apocalypse system.
It's awkward.
But I do really love this, like, the flexibility that this is giving us for this Eggs Fest. I think that you probably feel really overwhelmed and just just completely, like, I mean, dominated in this situation is really the word, but
dominated, powerless.
Yeah, weak, just honestly.
Weak, overcome.
Yeah. I would say maybe the lasting effect you would feel like this this sucks. This happened to you, and this sucks.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we want to go with for a word?
I would say weak, just to keep it short and simple.
Short, simple, cool. Okay. So Milo would love to just like spit blood at you, but he's not bleeding. So he just turns to you, looks up. Fine. Do whatever you want. There's silver nitrate in my leg, okay? There, you got it out of me. Are you happy?
Pardon?
My leg.
And then I think Trip is definitely gonna
My right leg.
Trip is definitely gonna grab his leg.
Yeah.
Like, let's see, I'm sitting on your chest, so I'm gonna grab your grab right above the knee.
Yeah, and I think you feel when you like there's you feel a joint, like a mechanical joint in there. I have a tin leg. It's enchanted, and the silver nitrate in it makes it work.
You know who uses that, right?
Well, no, Chip. Would you care to enlighten me now that you're sitting here on my chest?
I think at this point, Trip's gonna pull a string on Milo and pat him on the head and just be like, "Look, I'm not gonna hurt you anymore. Probably. Just calm down, and we can discuss this like fine, upstanding adults."
Trip, you're learning.
Worst.
Typically, Trip, when people want to discuss something like upstanding adults, they don't start by beating the other person up.
Well, most people don't smell like things that are just used to hunt down people like me.
People like you. What does that mean?
Ooh, I think Trip's a little triggered. Trip just triggered himself, and he's just gonna lean in real close. And I would say you actually get like a certain amount of definitely like you hear the voice his voice just gets even deeper, raspier. It's almost like his vocal cords ain't working quite right, and he just leans in real close, and he's just like, people like me. And with his eyes full golds, and some of your people, you think we're animals, we're just bad guys to use and throw away for your little stories. Maybe you're telling.
We wouldn't think you were animals if you didn't act like it.
Wouldn't have to be an animal if you didn't try to hunt us like them. And he's just gonna pat his leg and be like, I don't know how you came about getting this, but that's some bad history right there. And I think he's gonna be a real dick and get real. He's just like, that's a bad history, little boy. Sorry, I'm leaning down at the screen like an asshole.
Oh, it's great. We're getting into it.
I'm like, because for the record, David's screen is on the bottom of mine, so I'm like,
What do you mean it's a bad history? It was given to me at the academy.
They gave you that? So, basically, I'm just imagining this smells like something that's used to hunt anthropomorphic wolves, basically werewolves and other associated canids. Cat tax. That's where I'm getting at with this. And the fact that it smells a lot like that means that it has a history of has a dark history, which I don't know if Milo would know or not.
Oh no, Milo has no clue. So this is all news to him for sure.
So
which is why he's interested in some sort of explanation.
I think Trip is like now starting to feel awkward. He's just like, wow, I just wrecked this dude, and he has no idea what's going on. So just looking for a graceful way to back out of this now, which there really isn't. He's just and kind of and then stands up and gets off your chest and just goes,
Yes, well, this has been lovely. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed our time together. Get lost! And
just goes, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna run away.
Ooh, which way are you running away?
This time. Into the woods. I've forgotten my fear.
Into the woods.
Oh, that's awkward. Trip is gonna grab the back of his backpack as he starts to run away. Like, not trying, just...
Alright, can we roll
Is that cool?
it?
Are we cool with this?
It's cool. It's cool.
Alright, let's see if this... is this volatile as well? This is kind of a... This is definitely like a, I can't let this dipstick run into the woods.
So
and get
this
died.
sounds like Milo is making a runaway action, and it sounds like you are using a string.
Can I use a literal and a metaphorical string?
You could actually, if you want to just grab the bag to have me not go.
Yeah, and then I'm going to pull a string. So I'm going to grab a literal and metaphorical string. And okay, so I'll have used 2 there. Erase those. And just be like, you're going to die if you run out there, right?
Well, quite frankly, I don't have much to live for!
Welcome to the club, Haas. And Trip's just going to start dragging him backwards.
And I think that actually really gets him. Milo has not hit his darkest self, but my condition for escaping my darkest self is to escape your darkest self, you must come to see how someone else feels more trapped than you do. And I think when you say it, that actually hits Milo, and he actually kind of like stops resisting you and just allows you to drag him back away from the woods.
Like, Trip doesn't drag him very far. It's just like kind of skidding a little bit, and once he realizes that there's not any real resistance, he's gonna just grab shoulder and then just kind of spin a little bit and just I don't know what the deal with your leg is, but honestly, I'm sorry. But running off to die ain't an answer.
Perhaps you're correct. Loath as I am to admit it.
I don't have any easy answers for you. In my experience, they ain't really worth anything anyways. But you're competent. You can go far here. You got the right attitude. They'll love you. They love nevers. Or they love evers that just want to do the right thing and step in line. And it seems like he's just gonna kind of slap him on the shoulder a little bit. It seems like you got that on lock.
I think at this point Milo doesn't have anything else to say. He's just gonna sort of stand there slack-jawed and let you walk away.
Yeah, and Trip says that and then immediately turns and walks away.
Yeah, and Milo is just sort of standing there, in the clearing on the edge of the woods, in the snow, watching you go with his jaw just like, what just happened?
So we
It
see.
feels really bad. I think as you walk away, you just see a lot of especially with that fresh new haircut, he's rubbing the back of that like good shave feel when you rub on the back. Oh, it's so good.
So we see Fang's hawk soaring overhead, and like swooping back towards the school for evil. And I think we see a few days pass on the schools. Both schools, a lot of the students have left for the break. So we see a few various evers and nevers in the clearing and by the lake. Maybe making snow people at one point, having snowball fights, just generally enjoying the winter atmosphere, whilst having no rules, in air quotes, because we're on break. I feel like there's also like a voiceover with Dean Morgan Le Fay, and she's saying something like, "Oh, of course, students, we will see you in just a short time after the break, where we will begin preparing students for the upcoming Circus of Talents, a night of wonders and tricks and performances, in which both the Evers and Nevers will once more compete to show who can produce the best and most talented students." How are y'all spending your break?
Well, I'm gonna give Lulu a makeover.
All right, I'm gonna let you do that because I think right now you're like the only person that made her feel a little bit hopeful.
I'm gonna make her look hot. You're gonna see what you're missing out on, Milo. Jerk.
Orc that guy.
What do you do? I want to know. I want to know Shinnok's vision for what hot is for Lulu.
What's on your Lulu vision board?
So what do you do?
Well, she gotta look. Okay, it has to look, on brand, right? It's
Right.
gotta have that Lulu twist. I could make her look like me, but that wouldn't be, that wouldn't be right. She's gotta look like her personality. Your personality has to shine through. Well, first she's gonna give you like a haircut. Cause I'm not like a bunch of it, but like, split ends. I don't know enough about Lulu's hair to say what it would look like. But
It's brown and like massive curls just all over the place.
Nice. Okay, I got it. She's gonna figure out like what kind of conditioner and like shampoo that's like the best type for Lulu's hair, so that the curls are like nice and soft. And like she's gonna like cut the split ends, but she knows that Lulu likes to sort of like hide behind it, so she leaves enough that like really nicely like frames her face. And then she can't really do much about clothes because you have to wear a uniform.
We have to wear a uniform on break.
True. Oh, that's true. So I imagine like comfy casual or like cute casual, you know what I mean? Like jeans and,
Are you sure that this is good? Like, she normally wears clothes that are too big for her on purpose in case she shifts.
I mean, Lulu, if you shift out of, go into beast mode, you're gonna rip your clothes anyway, so you might as well look good doing it. You know?
I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah. So I think jeans and, some nice shirts. I don't know what I'm talking about. Beanies, just like so many beanies. Shinnok sees Lulu as like a beanie person. And then, and then she's gonna like teach her how to do like makeup, but like not the stuff that like, not like full face, like something that like is, like fast and like, I mean, I imagine Lulu would like, I kind of imagine it like my opinion of makeup, which is like, it looks really beautiful and I just don't have the patience for it. So by the way, Marcy, your makeup looks beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
And I think she's going to teach her like, oh, here's how you do like a wing, and just buy this kind of mascara and this lip gloss. But if you don't like lip gloss, you can use chapstick and blah, 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 blah.
She's like taking on this.
Oh, and you have to have a skincare routine. 5 steps at least.
5?
No, I'm just kidding. You just need a good face wash and face lotion because you gotta preserve that moisture barrier. And
wow, there are
that's
more
it. And toner
like this than there are in surviving fairy tales.
Yeah. It's almost like this place is lawless and doesn't care about the survival of its students. I mean, that couldn't be true.
I was going to ask, Lilu, how does all of this compare to your beautification classes and what you learned there from Professor Helen of Troy?
I think that my girl Helen, if I may, is naturally beautiful. I feel that the beautification class is less about what you're putting on your face and more about taking care of your mental health and physical health so you can feel and act like you are your best. And how you do that in the best way possible. And maybe she has one-on-one meetings with all of the students to find out if anything's going on with them and checking in and figuring out what to do. And I've been avoiding those one-on-one meetings quite a bit over the last week.
I'm sure.
I think if I take a little liberty here, in the previous ones, she was actually wanting Lulu to embrace more of that wild side because it's uniquely her. When she goes out into the woods and comes back with all of those leaves and twigs in her hair, that's Lulu when she's happy. Or when she's like sitting in like a reading nook and reading, those images are the things that are like happiest for her. So if we take a little bit of that with this, I think Lulu puts like a glowy, dewy kind of look together that highlights all of her light brown freckles and her like golden eyes. She lets the hair like is now split end free. Some of it is like in a beanie, but like I wish I brought mine out here. But like the rest still like tumbles like freely around her. She has like now like she's wearing like black jeans and like a smart little coat and this like lovely green blouse that she can be comfortable reading in as well as going outside in.
We definitely do a Princess Bride. Like, there's no one even there.
Around,
she
like,
to the
halfway.
mirrors. Yeah. We've got the pictures, and then we.
Where
pull,
are we
yeah.
actually?
That's a great question.
I wonder if we're like, if it's break, are we still not allowed to bring like never students up to our dorms? I'm assuming.
No.
We probably have to be outside by the lake.
That sounds cool.
You can probably get bribe the mirrors to come out and hang out by the lake.
Oh, Lilu can definitely do like the sweet princess. Could we? Do you think that we could? Could you come with me? You're always so kind when I'm not knowing what I'm doing in here. But there's somebody that seems to know what they want to do. If you come outside with us to the lake, don't tell anyone. I won't say anything.
Yeah, I feel like Lilu definitely has a sway with enchanted furniture.
Yes, one might say that.
Mm-hmm. she's quite familiar.
I think she's feeling a little bit better too. She's spending more time with like one of her oldest like friends, and the pressure is a little bit off, and she's feeling like she was maybe letting herself slide there, and that wasn't okay.
I think this is affecting Shinnok too. It feels good to not be surrounded by nevers, or more like people who don't actually care about
like Lilu
her.
puts up no airs. She's just hanging out with you.
And I think that lets her forget, the other darker kind of personality or consciousness that kind of comes out when she's around, career manipulators.
Mm-hmm.
And just like it lets her remember like who Shinnok is. So it's pretty wholesome. We have a great break.
You spend the morning, let's say, out by the lake. And it's been a few dreary days. The snow is coming down, but I think in particular it's warmed up quite a bit this morning. We're nearing noon, and I feel like coming along the shore of the lake, you hear some whistling. It's very cheery whistling, and very quickly coming from around the corner towards, in your direction, back towards the entrance to the School for Good, is Chanticleer. The upside-down triangle of a man with a big black bouffant and a large Adam's apple. And the whistle is caught and dies as a gurgle in his throat when he sees the two of you seated by the edge of the lake. With this big old grand mirror that like neither of you, you both look way too small to carry this thing out, so it's definitely a little supernatural to see. And he just catches himself, smiles. Morning! And he starts walking in your direction.
Morning!
Hi.
For a minute, he looks down at the two of you, and he looks at Lilu, and he's like, and then he looks at Shinnok, and he's like, well, how's everything going then?
Going great. How are you?
It couldn't be better, the sun do shine, and I'm quite grateful for it.
Me too. It's little things in life.
Right. Little things.
Who's looking between the two of you
So, congrats on the win. I guess I never got to tell you that properly.
You didn't.
Thank
you.
You earned it.
Yes, I did. It was fun. I mean, aside from all the parts that were horrifying, it was good.
You walked me straight into a trap.
You walked.
You told me to go to those caves. You told me you were all going there, and then you found us.
I think her eyes dart over to Lilu, and then back to Chanticleer. I told you that the Nevers were going to the caves. Is that incorrect?
That night was such a blur. I just feel like... Why am I surprised that Endeavor is twisting her words? But I am surprised to see you hanging out here, Lilu.
It's break. I thought that we could be anywhere on the grounds.
You know, this is why people think we lost your relationship.
I thought you lost because, you know, I mean, Farkas got knocked out within 30 seconds of the troll coming out of the cave, and you really weren't very much use after that, were you? It's just funny how it just seems to come down with Lilu, and it's just interesting, you know, just very interesting.
I think it's a little awkward looking at you. I think it's in your best interest to find it interesting. And Lilu, I really think you should stop listening to her.
Hey,
She twists everything she says, and nothing she says is meaningful.
weren't you and Farkas trying to find me? Weren't you so distracted by everything because you just wanted to fight me, and I had to be the one to remind you about why we were really there? I don't think that's any form of never manipulation, last I checked.
I'm sorry for Farkas. He turns to you, Lilu. Sometimes I don't know where his head's at. He says things that I don't understand. But I feel like you should know better.
Oh, you don't have to be sorry. And I think like being with like Shinnok has like rubbed off on her a little bit, and there's like this little, she's just like this little ball. Like it's very clear that she doesn't like confrontation and is shaking even while she's saying this. You don't have to be sorry. If I recall correctly, I outlasted the both of you.
You did. You were very powerful. And to your point, Shinnok, I think the ogre got the best of us.
Chanticleer, you have a good head on your shoulders. Why do you listen to Farkas? You don't have to go along with what he says. Why aren't you the leader? Why are you following him? It just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you here moralizing to Lilu when it just seems like you're not really big on taking actions for yourself, you know?
Well, I enjoy the little things. Strolling through the sun in the morning, enjoying the bird song. You're right, I don't often take action or in my own initiative, but I feel like I know the line between right and wrong when I see it. And Farkas, well, he straddles that line, but I think he can be a real force for good. And Lilu turns back to you. That's why I'm talking to you right now, because I see light in you. And I don't know. I think if you keep hanging out here, your light will never shine.
Do you know why I told you to go to the caves, Chanticleer?
To win?
No. I told you to go to the caves because I knew that you and Farkas were looking for Lilu. And I was supposed to meet Lilu at the pumpkin patch that night, and Milo. Me and Trip and Lilu and Milo were going to meet at the pumpkin patch, and we were going to figure out how to win the trial together. And I didn't trust you to be a part of that. So I told you to go to the caves. Things didn't go as planned, but You don't know me. And I think before you go around making judgments about who is good and who is evil, maybe you should listen.
Half of the Evers wouldn't even look at me after I came back, and they're still talking about what I did. Listen, I'm learning how to deal with that. But this Never student that you're saying I shouldn't be with, she was the only one who didn't care. So, I don't care if you see a light in me. Frankly, that's not a light that I want if this is the caliber of students that we have in this school. And then she's just like,
I've got a lot to learn. I'm muted. I've got a lot to learn myself about what being good truly means. I know I'm making mistakes, but there's a line, Lilu, and you can't straddle it forever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you too, Shinnok. But there's a line. And he's going to use his string on you. So what I think he might just give you a condition.
Oh man. What is it?
Lilu's going to take the condition. And I feel like the condition might be untrustworthy.
I'll take it.
Or just because your loyalties are obfuscated.
Oh, this just cements everything Shinnok believes about Evers. Dang it! Oh!
So Chanticleer uses his string. Got it. Okay.
Am I right, ladies? Yeah.
Ladies, is your Everman trying to draw a wedge between you and your best friend?
Hey y'all, I barely know this rooster.
Shut him down.
Hey, anonymous cheerer. Yet another anonymous cheerer. Yeah. Thank you for anonymously cheering. For everyone in chat who doesn't know, you can cheer by hitting the little button next to the emoticons. It's like a little triangle. And you can watch ads, and you can literally throw pennies at us.
All pennies.
Someone just threw 100 pennies at their screen, essentially.
Aww.
Which is kind of nice if we were like performing on the street and
That's
someone
cute.
just threw coins at our feet.
Thank you.
That'd be nice.
Oh, I assumed it was at us.
Wow.
Take them. Take them.
Can somebody please roll to shut him down?
I'd like to.
Go, please.
Yes.
My cold
I
is not
des-
one.
I desperately want a roll to shut Chanticleer down based on the conversation that just happened.
Go a whole 0 on that one. Probably not. That'll be a 4.
No, unfortunately
not.
not.
Rolling so well today, guys.
So
I'm
yeah,
glad
he
I have that experience.
I feel like he uses that string, and he says, "There's a line," and then what lame response do you say to his back as he's walking away?
Oh.
Well, screw your line.
And
Get him.
he walks away, no longer whistling.
Aw.
Stupid fucking rooster,
man. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to our ending time. So I think we only have time for one more scene. And I'm not exactly sure. We did talk about ending at on New Year's Eve for the winter break. I don't know.
Let's cut to it.
Might as well. So is there... I'm assuming that there's some sort of party happening, at least somewhere.
Sure.
Oh, and you know it's a never party.
Yeah, let's say that never. Let's bring in Peppermint Petty, because we brought...
Because you want to torture us?
Yes.
We get it.
So Patty's name in her companion's name in the Peanuts is Marcy. I'm
It's
pretty
Marcy,
sure.
yes. We all know that. Yeah.
So I think we need a good never companion for Petty.
Mercy.
Mercy is good. I was thinking mirthful, but I like Mercy too. So Petty and Mercy are planning a by-school New Year's Eve party, a little bonfire in the clearing where everyone can meet. The few students who are here and the students who are cool enough to receive a verbal invite from someone. You really just have to know someone who knows someone who's going, which you all do. Woodland campsite. I wonder what that sounds like. So, Peppermint Petty is, I think she's fully pink skin. Just like, with, maybe she even has like legit like white stripes, like on her skin tone, patterning her. Because she's from Candyland, so she definitely takes on the tone. No, I don't like this track. It's not doing anything for me.
I feel it.
Yes, so she and Mercy are passing out some sort of punch. A very sweet punch that probably has... It's probably a punch made with like a mead, I can imagine. Some honey stuff. Make things nice and sweet. Who... Well, I don't know. Are y'all going to this party?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like Trip probably gets dragged along by Shinnok.
Yes.
I feel like, Shinnok, you dressed me up. Because I think I told you what might be going down.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh.
Is Elaine perhaps going to said party?
She is. She has been here during the break.
Shinnok desperately wants to get Milo at this party.
Yeah, I mean, Milo goes to the party. He's, I think, spent most of the break sitting in his room, reading, I think very specifically working his way through the stack of books that Lulu dropped off for him.
Oh, God!
And
hey! Oh, sorry.
here's...
I just noticed that Waffles Maple Syrup rated. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We are on the tail end of our Monster Heart stream, but we have just arrived to a New Year's Eve bonfire party, and everyone's favorite little soldier, Milo, has dragged himself out.
Yeah, he's like, well, you know, I'm aware that something is happening. Might as well put myself out there. And he goes and he stands on the sort of furthest edge, at the very edge of the firelight, sort of just planting himself there, not talking to anybody. I don't think he's even got the wherewithal to, like, grab a cup of punch to look vaguely normal, because, you know, if you're at a party and you don't know anybody and you're not talking to anybody, the least you can do, the bare minimum, is you have to hold a cup in your hand. But he's not even, he can't even do that.
Literally.
He dressed up a little, though. He put on his nice uniform.
Shinnok, I feel like you definitely noticed this. And if you've seen Elaine tonight, you also see her with your other classmate, Adara, the Valkyrie.
Shinnok immediately hits the punch. Yeah, woo! And she's gonna walk away from Adara and Elaine. That is not something she's here to have a good time. She is not interested in addressing that right now. And I think she's gonna go. I mean, unless someone else wants to snag Milo first, she is definitely gonna walk over with some punch. And she's definitely a little toasty. Toasty? That's the right word? I don't know.
There's a bonfire.
Tipsy, whatever.
Toasty works.
Toasty, yes. And she's gonna be like, oh my god.
Miss Shinnok, good evening.
Man, you still have that metal rod straight up. You know what? You know what? Tonight is exactly what you need. Have a drink.
Well, I suppose it would be rude to decline.
Yes, it would be.
Thank you.
And just let's do it. And she has her own. She's like, all right, okay, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna throw it back. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go.
Yes.
And she tips all of her drink back.
Oh boy. Does Milo follow suit? I don't know. Can I roll?
If you are able to.
I mean, can I roll to keep my cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Great.
Afraid you're gonna upchuck?
Yeah, he's afraid. He's just afraid of social repercussions, basically. Either from not doing this correctly. So we're looking at a cold
Right.
0. So we're at a 10.
Okay.
Great. So I think he does the exact right thing. What, from Shinnok's perspective, is the exact right thing? Is it to also throw back the drink with reckless abandon?
Yes, it is.
Great. So he does it as well. Cheers. Whoop. And just drinks the whole thing down.
But
That's
I think
what.
Oh no, that's got rather a kick to it.
That is what I'm talking about. Woo!
So
I was actually a little nervous when you came over here, Miss Shinnok. We didn't exactly part on the best of terms last time we encountered each other at length.
Nope. But you know what? I drink to forget, so it's fine.
Well,
Also,
here's to forgetting.
yes, here's to forgetting. Also, the schools don't care if we live or die. Just remember that.
Wait, we're drinking to forget, but we have to remember about the schools.
Yeah, it's forget the, it's solidarity amongst the oppressed? Solidarity amongst the students who have no power in this situation. I was dropped in a mud puddle, and she's just gonna start ranting.
Milo, with your 10 on keeping your cool,
Yeah.
You do gain insight into the situation. So yes,
Yeah.
you knew you were to throw it. You knew you should throw it back. But I do think
I'm sorry.
keeping your cool in this situation, maybe you learned something about Shinnok's intentions here.
Yeah, that's what I would like to find out with that 10. What are Shinnok's true intentions here? Is she actually offering an olive branch? Is this the opening to some sort of deception? Is she, planning something further? What
I think it is.
do I get?
It is. It is an olive branch asterisk. I think Shinnok is really struggling with this situation that they've all been put in. And she doesn't see an ever in Milo or Lilu, and she doesn't see a never in Trip. She just sees people that are struggling with who they are and what they should be doing, and she really identifies with that. And like it touches her emotionally. It really does. But she's not above using it to her advantage.
Okay. So, yeah. Cool. All right. So Milo actually gets that.
She's not the best person.
Lilu, where are you? What are you doing?
I think we, and by we I mean Shinnok and I, planned something that had to be rehearsed many times because Lilu was incredibly nervous about how this is going to go. I was told to arrive fashionably late. I was told to come by the south side so that the fire could, quote-unquote, make me look more dramatic. I think that Lilu is wearing her, riding trousers, a blue jerkin. For those not in the know, that is a very, a thicker leather padded coat that one might actually wear probably more closer to a gambeson. If she was going to be fighting.
Closer to a what now?
It's called a gambeson.
Okay.
Thicker padded material, basically, that can take a blow. But it's cut, form-fitting.
Play The Witcher, you'll know about Gambus.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
Take some liberties here. She's got her sword belt on and a sword neatly polished. Thigh-high boots on. And her wild curly hair has been meticulously, painstakingly, 20 points of friendship to Shinnok for doing it, braided into a long, French flowing braid that's coming down across her shoulder. And she's got that eyeliner so sharp it can kill a man, in fact.
Then I know wingtip, it's a dagger tip.
Oh, yes, it is. And she is never, ever been more nervous in her entire life. But she was told to stand up straight and stare straight ahead and it will be over soon. So she comes striding out, stepping through, past and around the fire, and announces loudly and hoping her voice doesn't squeak while she does it. Sir Farkas.
So Farkas is there on the other side of the fire.
Oh, this is loud enough for everyone.
He's on the other side of the fire pit, the bonfire, talking in a small group of Evers. As you mention his name, the whole group stops and turns, and Farkas is, 5'5", so he's shorter than most of the people there, but he's pretty buff. He just kind of
He's taller than I am.
He is, and he turns.
You can all see her, too.
Excuse me?
Milo definitely turns to Shinnok and whispers, "Oh my. Is that Princess Lilu?"
Yeah, it is.
Sir Farkas, I believe that I have disappointed you in being late for our duel. That's something I'd like to remedy now. She pulls off a black glove and throws it to the floor in front of his feet.
Ooh.
You have been challenged, sir.
Ooh, the whole crowd's like, what? And the music just record scratch stops. Everyone kind of looks around and he's like, you really wish to ruin a party with a duel?
Can I start a chant?
By all means.
It's just duel, 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 duel.
Even Milo catches on.
Trip definitely gets in on that on the bass notes.
No, Milo is not chanting. Milo is just like he's resumed his slack-jawed look around, like, what is happening?
But every other never in the room is like, duel, 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 duel. And indeed, I feel like some never goes and Farkas totally has a sword on him because he's that kind of dude.
He's from Camelot.
Right, he always has a blade on him.
Sorry.
That's what they say.
So he just kind of, fine, princess. If you wish to duel here, we shall duel now. I am always ready. And he pulls his blade and gives a graceful bow to you.
On guard.
On guard. So, what do you do?
We're gonna fight.
Oh.
Lash out.
Now is the time, Dice. Now is the time. And so it was. Math's hard for me. Everybody, please.
Get it right.
What does a 12 do?
A 12. So he takes harm, and he chokes up momentarily before he can act. How does that play out?
I think that he was expecting me either to parry genteelly or something like that. Perhaps courtly fencing, but I just quickly we have our swords crossed. I just quickly draw that blade right close to the basket and try to disarm him.
Okay. He manages to hold on to his blade, but the sheer act of the disarming stuns him for a moment, and he's like, as he just tries to hold on to it, leaving himself open for your next move.
All right. Duels have very specific purposes. I am not trying to severely injure him. Normally, I don't know how we can play it with the mechanics here, but a duel would be to first blood or something like that.
Sure. I think you more just kind of whipped him, hit him with the blade.
A test of actual strength, being don't.
Right. So he's got a little bruise, both physically and mentally.
Slap that little biscuit with the flat of the blade.
His ego's a little bruised too.
So we're going again.
First blood.
Or would he be rolling this time?
No, so I don't roll. And
right.
since he was stunned, he's
Forget it.
open, so go for it.
Oh, yeah. That's an 11.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's a 6 and a 4.
So he quickly catches himself, and you begin crossing blades. But how do you stun him and harm him again?
I step off the line. So normally fighting would be face to face, and I think with a crescent move to the side as he's coming in maybe for a swift thrust, I just bat one aside and I nick through his coat, but I do it so that I don't exert as much pressure to get blood right away.
You're drawing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone here thinks that I am somebody that can be messed with. And Shinnok has told me that I shouldn't do that anymore. And I think that Lilu herself is that sense of confidence that she gets when she's training by herself is starting to come into play. It's dark. There's only the fire. She can see only her prey. And she's feeling good. Not loss of control bad, but she knows how to do this.
Can you roll one more time to lash
right.
out?
That one will be mixed. That one will be an 8.
An 8. Okay, so you harm him, and this will be when blood is drawn.
Yeah.
But then on a 7 to 9, you harm them, but choose one. So you pick one. They learn something about your true nature and gain a string. The MC decides how bad the harm turns out, or you become your darkest self.
Oh, I think that he just learned something about me tonight.
I absolutely agree.
And he gains a string on me.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's fair.
Describe your win.
I think that I maybe he gets a bit frustrated and is going to try to bull rush me. And I just step aside and right along the collar. I think the face is too much of an insult, but right along like the collar line, I just go, and there's just like a thin trickle of blood through his pristine clothes.
He falls to the ground and he grabs at his shoulder and he looks up at you, and you can see a newfound respect in his eyes. I'm not gonna go so far as to call it admiration, but there is like this is what he was looking for, waiting for from you. You can see he's almost happy at this outcome. But oh, go for it.
I was gonna say Lulu sheathes her sword, and some of that like very upright posture, confidence kind of drops a little bit now that it's kind of over, and she holds out a hand to help him up.
He accepts it, and stands up, and then he shakes your hand. And I think someone from the Ever group calls out at this point. I don't want it to be a Dara. Let's make it... Oops, these are my vampire notes. I should put these in different books. Let's
do
make
we
it...
have to stab?
I mean, it can be vampires. It's fine.
No, we've got Ian, the other guy, the other Ever from Group 13, the leprechaun. And so he's kind of over by Chanteclair and the rest of the Ever group, and he's got a big old mug in his hands, and he's looking very rosy in his cheeks. And he's like, "Well, that's all good, well and good, but how do we know she can be trusted? She's working with Nevers and beating up our potential class captain. I say, to hell with her fighting prowess."
I say you're just jealous.
How close is Trip to Ian?
Close enough.
Oh my god, I thought of the most melodramatic thing I could possibly say, so I'm gonna say it. So, from behind, and I think that, like, Trip has definitely been pulling a Milo and just hanging out at the edge of the firelight, just kind of, but, like, aggressively drinking, and has, drinking punch, and just leans in and goes, "Son, you don't know a damn thing about hell." And, like, just growls right in his ear.
And he wets himself.
Yeah!
And I think there is a great spot for us to wrap up our session tonight. Any final moments, any last visions or images? I can tell this wine's working. Any last glimpses of our characters on New Year's Eve?
I think Lilu goes over to Shinnok and like gets a drink, and Milo does not acknowledge you at all. She turns right around and maybe grabs Shinnok by the hand, and they go off to have a great fun time at the party.
Glory to the victor!
Yeah, and Milo is just sort of stunned at the whole unfolding of events. He's been he's been swinging this punch, not paying any attention because he was so fixated on your entrance and the duel. And as you sort of sweep around past him and, you know, grab Shinnok and go off, he's just sort of like bumbling and stumbling over trying to say something after you.
Oh.
I think Shinnok looks over her shoulder at Milo, looks back at Lulu, and then winks at Milo. That's the last you see of her.
And so, with that, my dear Evers and Nevers, we end another session. Music. We end another session of the School for Evil and Good.
Started from the bottom and
Now we here. Now we here.
Yeah, we did that. Things happened. Like, it feels weird because I'm normally used to running, you know, Dungeons and Dragons or like really dynamic action heavy games, and so when we come to Monster Hearts, and the rules revolve around the conversations we're having in character and the feelings we have towards one another. It, like, in the moment, I always feel like, oh my god, this is so epic, and then I look back and I'm like, wait, what happened? Great session, everyone.
I had fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I just really got to sit back and relax and enjoy watching the four of you.
Well,
into each
you're
other.
welcome, Chris.
So everyone in chat, the artistically inclined, thank you for hanging out with us. Salem Town Addiction, thank you for hanging with us. The Waffles Maple Syrup crew, if you're still here, we greatly appreciate your raids. Doing a quick look through, I do see Waffles Maple Syrup still here, so thank you. Great Zamino and Mark Likes Music, of course, fellow captains of the channel, so always grateful to have you here. You can check our social medias, SGE, right there in the chat. And feel free to scroll down and click that calendar button to see what other shows we've got going on. Tomorrow is the premiere of our Wednesday night happy hours.
Woo!
So we're offering happy hours now twice a week here at ManaPot Studios, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Check in for a grab bag of various RPGs and see what's on the menu tonight. And don't worry, it's on the house. As always, you can come and game with us at ManaPot Studios. And I think that's it.
Shout out to my mom.
Is your mom watching?
Maybe. She also might be listening. She's upstairs.
Aww.
So shout out to my mom. I love you.
Cute.
Yep. Shout out to my friend Cass as well.
We love both moms and Casses.
All Casses. All moms.
And without further ado, everyone, we'll be rating our good friend Mark Likes Music. I think he's playing video games over in Japan. So we'll stop in and see what he's up to. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.